welcome to Inside the Lines. I'm Lizi Arbogast alongside Ryne Gallacher. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. We're officially in football season. College starts this week. NFL starts next week.
Yes.
Next week?
Yeah, next week.
So we are gonna get right into it. We have a couple of really exciting games this week, and we're gonna start with our Thursday night game, which is Dadeville at Reeltown. This is a huge rivalry game.
Yeah,
the fact that these teams are 15, 20 miles apart. Everybody knows each other. Everybody gets amped up on social media. What do you make of Dadeville and being able to take down Reeltown?
Well, we saw Dadeville last week, and it was all about the big play for them. They were able to get big play after big play, and Reeltown's bringing the defense. I didn't see that from the defense last week. We knew they could move the ball on offense, but the defense really came to play this season, it looks like. And so Dadeville's going to be all about running the ball again, I think.
Yeah.
But they got to limit those big plays Reeltown does, or else it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Dadeville will start by trying to establish the run. But we saw, one thing I talked to Coach Johnson, Reeltown's coach, this morning about is that one touchdown pass that Demarion Wilkerson caught, and he just outran the defense.
He just ran a streak route from the slot.
Yeah, it wasn't fancy at all. He just ran. That's one thing that Reeltown needs to be really aware of is the speed that Dadeville brings to the table, because they're not the normal Dadeville where they're just going to run it down your throat.
They can throw the ball this year for sure.
Yeah, and those two little running backs that they have, Christian Nelson and Javante Holly, both were, I thought, really impressive.
They were phenomenal.
Yeah, especially for being just 10th graders.
And being thrust into the fire with the injury.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Reeltown, on the other hand, they have some offensive weapons of their own.
Of course they do.
You've got a guy like Eric Shaw, committed to South Carolina at tight end. Cameron Faison ran for almost 100 yards last week. So I think this could end up being an offensive, like a shootout almost.
Right. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. One thing I'll be interested in seeing is last year, I know you weren't here last year, but Reeltown got up by 2 touchdowns real quick. Dadeville muffed both of their kickoffs, and Reeltown picked it up and scored twice in a row before Dadeville even touched the ball. And it was just like, the Tigers just deflated.
Right.
And I didn't see that last week. They were hyped up the whole entire game, even when they were up by 30 points.
They were phenomenal. And Chisholm was fantastic on the line. He was dominant last week, and I don't know how this guy's not getting offers. He was throwing Horseshoe Bend guys around left and right.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a problem, and he might get matched up against Eric Shaw right there on the end. So it might be an interesting little matchup that we're going to see. That's
really true. Yeah, so I'll be excited to see that. We also have another big game. It's hard to actually pick the game of the week this week because there's 2 really big ones. Clay Central comes to Benjamin Russell. It's the Wildcats' home opener, and there's a lot going on with this game. Danny Horn returns. He's Clay Central's coach. He was here for almost 10 years. He returns. He's looking for his 300th win of his career. Benjamin Russell really doesn't want to give that up. And they're also renaming the stadium in honor of Willie Carl Martin and Coach Steve Savarese on Friday night. And so it's going to be a really exciting game for this town,
Exactly.
I think.
Well, I hope that Benjamin Russell can stay focused because that's a lot of distractions going into probably their hardest game of the year. And there's probably going to be a lot of activities going on throughout the school day as well.
Yeah.
So those guys just really need to stay focused and probably keep it simple, but still be able to pull a few rabbits out of the hat to do some pretty special things as well.
Yeah, that's what I hope too. And they looked really good last week.
I was surprised how well they looked last week.
Yeah, I thought all around. Offensively they looked really strong. They had a really good running game, which they didn't do last year at all. And defensively they held Beauregard to 50 yards of offense. But they were playing Beauregard. Beauregard's not Clay Central. Clay Central's a defending state champion for Class 5A. So I think, like you said, the big thing is just stay focused on the task at hand.
Right. And we talked about last week that with Benjamin Russell, it was about helping the offense, helping out the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they did that last week. And scoring 31-0, it gives your offense a lot of confidence going into the next week. And I feel like the timing was all right on everything that they were doing last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, and I was impressed with a couple of their, they had 3 running backs who ran the ball really well. Hezekiah Hunter, who was our player of the week, had 150 yards rushing more than 150 yards. And then DeMarcus McNeil, who's actually their third running back, he surprised me and came on, and he had like 85 yards. So it's good for them to have options.
Absolutely.
Especially against Clay Central, who is usually pretty dominating defensively.
Right, overwhelming. They can overwhelm you a little.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are our two big games of the week, but we do have our other two teams in action as well. Horseshoe Bend is headed home. They're going to host Donahoe, and I don't know anything about Donahoe.
I don't either, and I'm kind of a little bit worried about Horseshoe Bend because they lost their starting running back early in last week's game, and then they lost their quarterback right as the second half started in last week. So I don't even know if he'll be able to play with the concussion this week, so that worries me a little bit.
Yeah.
But we don't know too much about Donahoe. I think they went 5-5 last year, and so they might just be an average team, and maybe you can build your confidence up with the win this week. But they looked really flat on defense last week. Their offense, they were able to move the ball. The score was kind of deceiving to the Dadeville because there was a lot of big plays out of Dadeville.
Right.
But Horseshoe Bend was able to move the ball for long drives and really take the life out of them, it seemed like, a couple times.
Yeah, and that's what I think they're going to need to do if they're going to be successful, because they struggle so much defensively. They're going to need to keep their offense on the field and get those sustained drives. I mean, that one drive that we saw that was like 10 minutes long, I think that's going to be the key to success for Horseshoe Bend this season. And Donahoe is not,
that's not a powerhouse.
It's right. I mean, this should be a team that they can beat. It's just going to be, they need to be focused. And also we'll be curious to see if Chandler McMath, Gavin Brazel, and Holt Tidwell at quarterback will be back. I haven't gotten an update on those guys yet. But hopefully they'll be back because they need those guys.
Yeah, they really need them. And but I thought they moved the ball pretty well passing the ball last week too, although it was Holt Tidwell, so we need to see what the backup can do. But they were pretty successful in their run play. But because they ran the ball so much, I think it kind of got the defense thinking, okay, well, they're about to run it for sure now. They just ran it 5 straight times, but then opened it up and were able to get little 15, 20-yard passes a couple times. So
hopefully they can build, like you said, some confidence this week. One of our teams that will certainly struggle, Central Coosa, is headed to Holtville. Central Coosa was a disaster last week. They started with 12 players, ended with 9. And they were actually running, and I didn't know this was even allowed to run plays with less than 11 players.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That must be a new thing. But it's always
somebody told me it had something to do with you don't have to have a certain number of people on the line anymore.
Okay.
So anyway, you shouldn't be playing football with less than 11 people.
Right.
Unless you're playing 8-man football.
Right. You're always going to struggle if you're not having a team more than 15 guys out there.
Right.
It's just hard. Guys, especially this early in the season, guys get a lot of cramping because how humid it is, and just you're not used to taking those shots yet. So, and your footing a little bit more once you've kind of played a couple games and stuff. So you're not willing to try as risky things and know how to keep your distance if you're on the line and stuff from other linemen stepping on your feet and stuff like that.
Yeah. So and Holtville didn't play a game last week. They had a jamboree. They played BB Comer in their jamboree.
They're going to be really pumped for their first game.
And it's at home. And they didn't actually get a full game. They played BB Comer, but only played 2 quarters because of the weather, and it was an exhibition game. It's only won 14-0. I think they wanted a better showing than that. But Holtville has some scary weapons. Assuming Drake Baker will take over at quarterback again, and he is a serious dual threat. So Coosa's going to have to be really, really sound defensively, or this game could get out of hand very quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So again, we've got a big slate of games. Certainly a lot of stuff to be at this week. The Reeltown Dadeville games on Thursday night. There's also a citywide pep rally starting at 6:30 in Strand Park for the Benjamin Russell game on Friday night. So it's another week of football.
Yes, it's finally here. We're getting closer to college and closer to NFL, and I just can't be more excited. That's the best time of year to me.
It is the best time of year. So, and make sure that you join us. Scott Hardy and I will be live on Facebook at 6 o'clock for the Clay Central Benjamin Russell game, and we're hoping to have Coach Willie Martin and Coach Steve Savarese on as well to get their thoughts on having the stadium renamed. And that's pretty cool.
It is.
That's
awesome.
A really big honor.
Yeah.
So we are excited to get to week 2. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you on Friday night.
Thank you.